Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we are here to talk about goals. If you're new here, this is one of my favorite videos to film. I sit down and share how last month went. How did the goals that I set last month go? Did I accomplish them? How do I feel about them? Am I carrying any of them over into the next month? And then we talk about the next month. What have I set for the upcoming month? What am I looking forward to? This is one of my favorite videos to film because I feel like I personally get so much out of sitting here and talking about my goals with you. I get to hash out my thoughts. I get to explain why. Sometimes I get some really great ideas just while I'm talking. I also get a lot of really great ideas from you in the comments. So if you feel like you're struggling with your goals, first off, it's only been 2 months. There is still so much time left this year for you to accomplish so many amazing things. Try not to get down on yourself. I know it can be hard, but try to start fresh and focus on the time that you have in front of you, not the time that you feel like you may have wasted in the past. Also, I would highly recommend finding somebody to talk to about your goals, whether it's a friend or a family member that you can just hash it out with, bounce ideas off of each other. If you're not comfortable talking to a camera about it, or if you can't find someone in person, join a Facebook group. There's the Cultivate What Matters Facebook groups. There are lots of goal setting Facebook groups, or leave a comment below. I love talking goals and I'd love to hear about yours and hash out anything that you feel like you're struggling with your goals. I feel like we all benefit so much from just talking to each other about goals and supporting each other through it. And I would love to help be that support system for you. Also, we're trying a new angle for these videos. I discovered this in the vlogs if you watch the weekly vlogs, and I really like it. Let me know what you think. All right, let's get into it. February was not my best month. There were a lot of things that didn't go right in February, a lot of things I kept pushing off and eventually just didn't get them done. And today that I'm filming this is the last day of February. It's the bonus day, but still the last day of February. So this is basically how it's gonna look, and that's okay. I'm excited about March. Some things got moved to March, some things didn't, and we'll talk all about that. So let's start with the monthly action items. The first one is the friend directory categories. I did that. It was a combination of recommendations from you in the comments. Some of them I just pulled out of my head, and then some of them I actually Googled, like things that you should ask your friends to better your friendship. And I created a Google Doc of all of the categories. And a lot of you asked if I would share. I will definitely share. I'm gonna wait until I start filling in the information because there might be some things that I think of as I'm talking to my friends, and there might be some things that I end up taking off. So I just wanna go through that whole process before I share those categories with you, but I definitely will. Let me know what you think the best format is. I can make it a blog post, an Instagram post. I could put it in a YouTube video, although I'm not really sure how that would work, but let me know what the best format for you would be. All right, the next one is the one little word project. I did this. The February project was to set up a vision board, and I love the way that my vision board turned out. It captures all of my goals, the goals that I talk about in these videos, my 8 overarching themes for the year, as well as my word of the year, which is love. The next monthly action item was to make sure that I was seeing some inspiration for all of my goals on my Instagram feed. So I went through and looked at which goals are not being represented and asked for some recommendations. So then I followed some new accounts related to those goals, and now I feel like I can see all of my goals as I scroll through Instagram, and it has made my motivation and inspiration on Instagram so much stronger. All right, the next one was to organize content ideas. I already forgot about this one because I did it so early in the month, and I am so excited about all of the ideas that I have, and I have them organized into a handful of different categories. Some of them are ideas that I came up with, some of them are recommendations from you, some of them are refreshes of videos I've done in the past, like a morning routine, and then some of them are just sort of like random out of the box ideas that I got from somebody else, like somebody else did something and I kind of want to do my own spin on it. So I kind of have them broken down into categories. That way, when I go to add that video to my calendar, I know where it's coming from. The next one was my monthly YouTube analytics, and I did that. I feel like I really have figured out a routine there that I'm really excited about, and I'm including it on the March list because the March overarching goal was to establish my YouTube routine, and I just felt like I needed to include it one more month. But I think starting in April, it will no longer be a part of my power sheets and just be a part of my actual ongoing schedule. And then the last Plan with Laken related monthly goal was to start work on my online course. And I did not do that, but I have a good reason. I think it's a good reason. The person who teaches the online course that I signed up for actually is doing an in-person event that I signed up for. So I still think I need to do some of the online course before I get to the event, but she's gonna tell me exactly what that is. So I just sort of took that off the list until I figure out from her what it is that I need to complete before we meet in person, and then I will do that, whatever that entails. But for now, I just sort of took it off the list, but I'm really excited about the in-person event that I'm going to. All right, the next one was to work on my January memory keeping. I did that. If you saw that weekly vlog, I'm so excited about it. I love this rhythm. I love the products that I'm using. It feels, it just feels like the perfect balance of creativity, but functionality, like actually getting the memories down on paper. The next one though was to start work on the 2019 memories. And I did not do this. That weekend kind of got away from me, the weekend that it was scheduled. And I just decided to forget about it. In fact, you'll see that I decided to forget about it for March too, which is kind of counterproductive because the quarterly goal was to finish the 2019 memories, and I, with the exception of December daily, I'm not even going to start it in quarter 1. We'll talk about that more in my quarterly goals video. I'm planning to do a video very similar to this for my quarterly goals. Let me know if you're excited about that. That's the plan, because I think that it's just such a different mindset of the monthly ones, because it's like a theme, not like a specific action. And so I'm going to talk about how the ones I set for quarter 1 went, clearly some of them not so well, and what the ones that I plan to set for quarter 2 are. The next one was to come up with a list of declutter questions. Same thing here. A lot of you asked if I would share them. I will share them once I use them. So I did create a list of declutter questions. Again, some from books that I've read or articles that I've read, some just in my head, things that I really want to make sure I keep in mind when I'm decluttering. This one really was more specifically geared towards clothes for my dresser and then my closet. And once I do the process and see which questions were the most impactful for me, then I will share those questions with you. The next one was to declutter my dresser. This one doesn't have a good reason for not getting done. I don't know what it was. It just kept feeling super overwhelming. I know that that's part of it. And so I never felt like I had a big enough chunk of time, so I never started it. When truthfully, a dresser is one of those easy things that I could just break it down and do like one drawer at a time. But again, it still felt overwhelming to me. So that one definitely is getting moved to March. All right, the weekly goals. The first one is a meal plan. This I felt like I did a really good job of. It does help that I'm using HelloFresh. I don't know if that's cheating at all because I'm not actually planning my own meals. I am a little bit around HelloFresh if there's a meal or two, obviously, that it doesn't suffice. For those of you who don't know, I actually split my HelloFresh meals in half. So I get 3 meals delivered, but I cut it in half for both of us and then add more vegetables to make it a calorie-filling meal. So it fulfills a lot of our meals for the week. All right, the next weekly one was a 305 class, and I've talked about this for multiple months now. I bought a package right after we got engaged, and they're going to expire soon, and I've just accepted defeat. Because we joined the gym and I love our gym routine, I'm not excited or motivated to go to these classes. I'm just not. I wonder if I could gift them to somebody. I'm gonna reach out to them because I don't think I'm gonna use them. I love the gym. I love our gym, and I'm not excited about it. And so I'm not gonna enjoy it. I'm not gonna do as good of a job. So I should just do what is working for me, and that's not working for me. And while it hurts financially because I know I already spent that money, well, I already spent the money on the gym too. So by not going to those classes, I'm also technically losing money at the gym. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation to have paid for 2 different fitness things. A lesson that I have learned a number of times in a number of different areas of my life. And so that's just one I'm gonna call a loss. All right, the next goal was to get my YouTube videos up and ready to go 24 hours in advance. So I have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday listed on the goals page. And I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job of this. I mean, it wasn't perfect. Nothing ever is. My goals never are perfect. Imperfect progress is still progress. But I do feel like I'm doing much better about this than I was last year. Last year, I definitely feel like there were more either late nights or early mornings or procrastinating when it came to getting the videos, not filmed, but edited and uploaded and then prepped with the description box and all that stuff. I will be carrying it over to March just to sort of solidify it as a routine, but I'm really proud of the progress I've made the last 2 months. And then the last one was to spend some time each week working on the wedding, and I did that every single week. I still don't feel like I'm spending enough time on the wedding, and you'll see in March what I've decided to do to sort of give myself a little bit of a kick in the pants when it comes to wedding planning. All right, daily action items. So the first 2 was to track my food and to track my water, and I feel like I did a pretty good job of this. I still did not get over the hump of tracking when it's not perfect. Not for the water. The water, I'm good. I feel like I have a pretty good grasp. I also feel like I must be really hydrated because I have been going to the bathroom way more the last few weeks than I used to, like especially at work. I feel like I'm going like every hour. So I feel like I'm doing good on the water front. On the food front, I was good about tracking my food when I knew exactly what it was. Like when I was controlling every single one of my meals. If I was going out for a meal or meals, I didn't track it. And I still think I can't get over the mindset of, but it's not perfect. Like, I don't know, I'm not counting how many fries I had or counting, like, it just frustrates me. So I'm changing up meals in general for March, and we'll talk about that. But that's just something I'm gonna have to try and figure out again in the future. The next one was to do some PM skincare. I did washing my face as part of January, and then in February I upped it to skincare. I do still feel like I'm doing a good job of this. I am not carrying it over to March, not because it's unimportant and not because I nailed it, because I didn't. I still feel like I need to be getting a check mark to sometimes make myself do this because I'm just so tired in the evenings. But I'm sort of cheating by giving this the wedding goal color sticker instead of acknowledging that it in fact is part of your evening routine. It is wedding related because you care about your skin, but it's actually part of your evening routine, and that was not a quarterly goal. The quarterly goal was not to work on your evening routine, it was to work on your morning routine. I'm talking to myself here. So I decided to take it off for March and really hone in on the morning routine and give myself a little bit more grace on the evening routine, and then spoiler, my Q2 goal is gonna be my evening routine. The next one was to read in the morning. I do feel like I'm doing a really good job of this. I think as part of my quarterly video too, I'll talk about the books that I've read this quarter and which ones I like and recommend, etc. I am still not reading at as quick of a pace as I think I would like to. I definitely am not gonna get through all the books I wanted to this quarter, but I'm still reading. That's still progress. And then the last weekly goal was the one I was the most excited about, and then subsequently the most disappointed by. And it's not because it was a bad goal, but I think my intentions. So first off, let me rewind. The goal was to track my time. The purpose of it was not to see where my time is going. I know where my time is going. It was to get a better sense of how long things take so that I can better plan in the future. That was the purpose of it. The first problem was finding a method to track. So I thought I was gonna do it on my Google Doc, and I thought I was going to just like drag and drop, like move things around based on how much time they actually took. That didn't really work for me because I can't figure out really how to drag on my phone, and I wasn't going to my computer every time. So then I tried some time tracking apps on my phone because I thought, okay, well I need it on my phone, and this is so much easier. You can like set a timer, say here, I'm doing this right now, time me until I tell it to stop. And while that worked sometimes, it was not perfect. And here's what I determined. I don't need to track every single thing that I'm doing every single moment of every single day. There are certain things in my schedule that I want to have more knowledge of on how much time they take me. Not everything, just some things. So you'll see in March, I have decided to get specific about specific things that I'm gonna track how long those things take me. And I'm gonna do a couple in March, and then I'll do a couple in April, and then I'll do a couple in May, and then I will be able to get a sense in general of how long things take me, instead of trying to just track my entire day from start to finish, because that didn't work for me. So I'm hoping that this new methodology makes it better, because I was finding myself trying to track like every 5 or 10 minutes when I'm just like doing a bunch of miscellaneous things. Okay, I made the bed, and then I brushed my teeth, and then I got ready, and then like all these things. Like that is just not necessary. That is extraneous information. So I'm really trying to hone in on what it was that I wanted to get out of the time tracking and be specific. All right. Those are my February goals. Again, not perfect, but there was definitely still a lot of progress made this month, and a lot of progress that doesn't necessarily show up in my tending list. Let me know if you feel this way too, because just because something's not on my tending list doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not also trying to work on it, which I know is not necessarily the greatest thing, because I should really be like focusing on these things and letting everything else not go, but not be as important. But that's just not the case. Like, I was still going to the gym. I actually went 17 times in February, and I'm so proud of myself. That doesn't show up on my tending list. I bought a wedding dress. That doesn't show up on my tending list. So there is still a lot of progress that I made in February, even if there's a lot of blank spaces and dots on this list. All right, let's flip to March. I am so excited about March. I'm being a little ambitious in March. I'm not gonna lie to you. March, there's a lot going on. All right, let's start at the top with the encouraging words. So normally what I do, I think I talked about this last month, is I do all my goals first. And then I think, okay, what's kind of the overarching theme? What do I want to encourage myself with? And this month, I actually went in and looked for a quote about birthdays because it's my birthday month. Didn't really have anything to do with my goals, but I wanted something birthday themed. And I came across this quote from Oprah that actually doesn't say anything about birthdays, but it felt appropriate for this month and this season of life that I'm in. So it says, "The more you praise and celebrate your life, the more there is in life to celebrate." Oprah Winfrey. What I love about this quote is that it reminds me, even if we have goals, even if we have things that we're looking forward to, even if we have things in the future that we're going to celebrate, weddings, birthdays, whatever they are, there's a lot to celebrate now. And the more that we focus on what we're celebrating now, the more that those little things that we are celebrating will pop up in the future, the more that we will notice those little things. And I feel like I've been doing a good job of that. I've been using a daily gratitude journal where I write down one thing I'm thankful for every day. And sometimes they're like really big existential, like, oh, I'm so thankful for like, I don't know, something like cheesy big picture. And then sometimes it's like, I'm thankful for this one little tiny specific thing, like this little tiny object or this one tiny moment. I just love that. It reminds me also that life is made up of these little tiny moments of happiness and celebration, and it's not all about these big giant milestones that we're like jumping from one milestone to the other. Okay, the top priority for this month that I put is what feels right to me. And I want this to kind of encompass all of my goals that I'm going through this month. And I think one of the biggest ones is kind of a physical thing, like what feels right in my body in terms of food and fitness. Like I know when my body feels good and I know when it doesn't. And I just need to do a better job of listening to myself physically when it comes to food and fitness. It's definitely an emotional thing as well. I struggle way too much with needing all of the information. I need the most epic pro-con list. I need all the details. I need to know every little thing before I can make a decision. And truthfully, if I go through life doing that for every single decision I have to make, if you know how many decisions you make a day? You make a lot of decisions. And most of them, you don't have time to sit there and make a pro-con list. So at some point, even though I am not a gut instinct person, I need to trust my gut. I need to know that what I am choosing feels right, probably means it is right. So I think that I really just want to take this month to, again, listen to myself. Is what I'm doing in this moment right for me in this moment? Maybe next week I'm gonna think it's wrong. Maybe in 5 years I'm gonna think it's wrong. But if it feels right now, whatever it is, I'm gonna go with it. All right, let's go into the action items. So starting with the monthly ones, the first one is to do the quarterly refresh. I gave this the mental health color goal sticker. It didn't matter what color it was just something that needed to happen. Last year with my power sheets, I did a good job monthly. I mean, I made a video every month. I did a good job monthly, but I never did the quarterly refresh. I also didn't set quarterly goals. This month I clearly need to do a quarterly refresh, so I put that on my goals. The next two are both Plan with Laken related. The first one, again, is those monthly analytics that I'm gonna work on. However, after this month, I'm just gonna put it in my Google Cal as a recurring event that might have to get moved around, but it doesn't need to be in my power sheets anymore. The next goal is the Plan with Laken meetup. I am so excited about this. I've done a lot of work for it already, but there's still a couple things I need to finalize and work on before the actual event in a couple of weeks. So I just needed to allocate a couple of hours for that. The actual event I just put in my calendar. It didn't take away from my goals hours, but I'm really excited. If you are in or around New York City and you want to come chat about goals, please come. There are still a few tickets left. I would love to meet you and hang out and talk about planning and goals and stickers and pens and all the other things. All right, the next three are all wedding related, and this is how I'm tackling holding myself accountable to actually doing the wedding things, because I thought that if I just set aside time every week to work on the wedding stuff, then these things are just gonna happen. I'm just gonna work on them. They're not. That's not happening. I am taking probably more time than I need. I am sacrificing the time working on the wedding to do other stuff that feels more important that day. So I decided that for this month and probably all future months, I needed to get really specific about the wedding things that I wanted to get done in that month to really hold myself accountable. So the 3 wedding things for this month are research and email photographers, order the save the dates, and set up the website. I've started kind of working on all 3 of those in some regards, but I really want to be able to check them off at the end of the month. All right, the next two are the memory keeping items, and the first one is to do February memories. So again, even though my quarterly goal was to complete 2019, because one of my like underlying theme goals was to make memory keeping a habit, I decided to start working on the monthly memory keeping. And if that means that 2019 doesn't get done until the end of this year, but at the same time, I did 2020 as I went. So like at the end of the year, I have both 2019 and 2020 completed. That will feel more successful than if I finished 2019 this quarter, but then had to play catch up with 2020. Does that make sense? So for this month, I actually kicked 2019 off because there just wasn't enough time in the schedule. And so I'm just gonna do the February memories, which like the monthly analytics is just gonna get moved to my calendar after this month instead of being a goal. And then I'm also doing the day in the life project. I ordered the products and I'm really excited. All right, the next one is a routine goal, kind of. I gave it the routine color, but that is to get my next quarter's petite planner coiled. So when I got this done in December for the first quarter, I only did one quarter because I wasn't sure if it was something I was gonna love and use every day, so I didn't wanna pay for it and go through the effort. It is changed my life, and I am obsessed with my coiled petite planner. So I actually think I'm gonna do all 3 remaining quarters at the same time. I probably didn't allocate enough time for that. But if I can make it happen, I want to, just so that they're all done and I have them for the rest of the year. All right, and then I went a little overboard on my monthly items this month. I added an extra one, so I have 11 instead of 10. And my last 2 are to declutter and document my dresser and my closet. My dresser is obviously a carryover from the prior month that I did not finish. And then my closet, it was always the plan to do the closet in March. So hopefully I can get through both of those. On one hand, I'm not sure if I allocated quite enough time for them, especially the closet, because I want to try every single thing on before it goes back into my closet. I want to make sure that I love the way that it feels before it goes back onto a hanger. So I don't know if I allocated enough time for it, but I'm going to try to force myself. You know, there's like some law, some rule that you will fill the amount of time you give yourself. Sometimes that's a detriment, right? You give yourself an hour to get ready, you're going to take an hour to get ready. But if you give yourself 15 minutes to get ready, you could probably get ready in 15 minutes. So I'm hoping that the same thing kind of applies here. Like if I give myself that amount of time, I'm gonna force myself to get it done in that amount of time. All right, weekly action items. So the first one is to work on the friend directory info. And originally I had this as a monthly action item, but as you saw, those were already pretty stuffed. So I decided to break this down into a weekly action item. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the list, the friends list that I made, and I'm gonna cut it into 4 different chunks, and then I'm gonna work on it by like friends instead of by category. So the first week I'll start with this many friends, and I have allocated a half-hour a week, and so I'm gonna spend that half hour filling in what I already know about my friends, and then I think just texting them and saying, hey, I'm working on this thing, can you answer these questions for me? It might be kind of weird at first, but oh well. All right, the next one is to participate in a book club. So this is actually a book club that my friend Brianna over at Diva and the Divine is hosting as part of Lent. The book is Made to Crave, and it is about shifting your cravings from food to God. I'm really excited about this. This book was already on my to-read list, and so when she announced it, I was like, yes, I'm in, sign me up. So I'm really excited about that. I'm already a little bit behind because she already posted this week's discussion and I haven't read the first chapter yet, but I'm gonna get there. I'm excited to be a part of this discussion, to be a part. She's a Facebook group, and there's an actual like guide of going through the book as a group. And so there's like a weekly check-in, and then there's also little individual daily actions. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do all the individual daily actions. If I do, I'm gonna lump them into my reading time, not necessarily add an extra thing to my schedule. Or if I don't get to them, I'm just gonna play catch up because I've allocated time each week for the book club. All right, the rest of the weekly action items are all Plan with Laken related. So the first 3 are the same ones from the past 2 months, and that is to get the YouTube videos up 24 hours in advance. I am hoping that I can nail it this month so that I will feel comfortable taking it off next month, because I don't want to do it just for the check mark. And I feel like sometimes I'm doing that right now, but that's okay right now, because the goal with all of these, right, is to do it for the check mark now, and then it becomes a routine, and then you just do it in the future. So I'm hoping that that happens. I might just keep carrying it over for the rest of the year, who knows. The weekly ones, I feel like I always have space for it. So if I have space for it, I might as well just keep carrying it over. Whereas some other goals need to get booted just to the calendar or need to just become a routine because I need to make space for new things. And the last set of weekly action items is to track my editing time for all 3 videos. And that relates to what I talked about earlier with time tracking. So for March, what I'm gonna focus on time tracking is Plan with Laken stuff. So I guess that could have gotten a routine colored sticker or a Plan with Laken. Doesn't matter. The goal is basically to track exactly to the minute. Don't just guess. Don't just like estimate. No, like how long was the footage? And how long did it take you to edit? And what type of video was it? Because all of those things are valuable data points for me to plan in the future. Like Plan with Me's typically take less per minute of footage than like a vlog because I speed things up in Plan with Me's. That's my like actual like hypothesis, but that's why I want to track it. I want to get the data so that I can accurately plan my weeks. I think right now I allocate 2 hours to edit the Plan with Me, an hour and a half for the Friday video, and then like 3 or 4 hours to edit the vlog. I mean, sometimes that's accurate and sometimes it's really off. And it's never gonna be perfect. I understand that. It's always gonna be an average and a guess, and I probably will always round up and err on the side of caution because I'd rather have extra time at the end of the day than feel like I didn't accomplish everything I set out to accomplish. At the same time though, if the vlog is taking me an average of 2 hours, but I'm allocating 4 hours, where the heck are those other 2 hours going? All right, the daily action items. Before I tell you what I put in my power sheets, we need to talk about this adventure that I'm embarking on for the first 3 weeks of March, called the 21-day Sugar Detox. I am incredibly nervous. I'm just gonna tell you that, but I have talked in a number of videos about how I have a sugar addiction. I have a sweet tooth that is just never satisfied, ever. And it's not healthy for a number of reasons. It's not good for my mental health. I feel bad, like I'm trying to make my sweet tooth happy and then my body feels awful at the end of it. So I am taking advantage of the fact that I have very little plans the first couple weeks of March. I have a couple things that I'm gonna have to navigate, but I have very little plans. I am not going out of town, and I think it is the perfect way to kick off my next year of life because it'll finish up like a couple of days before my birthday. So I am very excited about this. I just got this book on Amazon. I found it because my friend Brooke tagged them on Instagram, and then I started following their Instagram for a little bit, and I was like, this sounds like exactly what I need. I'll tell you, the food in here sounds delicious. It just takes out like added sugars. You still get to have some fruit, but not all fruit for now, because they want you to really like have the taste of super sweet things being taken out of your diet, and then you can, you know, add those other fruits back in. But really the goal is no added sugars for 21 days. It's gonna be intense. I know it is, and it's probably gonna be hard, and I'm probably gonna get cravings, and I'm probably gonna get cranky, but I think it's really important for me, and I'm actually really excited about it. So my first 2 daily action items both have to do with this. I decided to break it down into 2 things. The first one is to journal. So each day in the book, there's like a place to journal and write things down. So they tell you like what to expect. There's some reading. So when I say journaling, it's like reading what's in the journal and then actually journaling it. And I wanted to make sure that I check in with this every single day. The second daily action item that I want to be able to check off is, did I actually just follow the plan? For the most part, I'm sticking to the meal plan that's in the book. It's actually super detailed, like to make it easier. So like when you cook something, it says, okay, so make 2 of these and save it for leftovers. Or, okay, you're cooking this meat, you're gonna cut it in half, put half in the freezer, and then use the other half for this meal. Like it's very explicit and it's super helpful. For the most part, I'm gonna follow the meal plan. But there again, there's a couple things I have going on that I'm gonna have to make decisions on my own. And if I stick to the general plan of no added sugars, then I'm gonna get the check mark for that day. All right, the next daily action item is 1 little word. So the 1 little word project for March is called practice. It's essentially a habit, but she calls it practice. So it's a little bit more, it's about embracing your word and practicing your word every day, not necessarily instilling a new habit, which I really like that because what I've decided to do for it is not something I'm gonna continue after it's over. At first I tried to do that. At first I thought, okay, here are the habits I wanna do. How can I force one of those into my word? And then it kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Like, and that defeats the whole purpose. Like, it is supposed to be about truly just embracing your word. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this little notebook that I got with the 1 little word kit. I don't think it was actually from this year. I think it was from last year's, and they sent it because there was an issue with part of my order. And I haven't actually counted how many pages if I need to do front and back. But what I'm gonna do each day is write down and about something that I love. It could be a person, could be an object, could be a food, could be Charlie, whatever it is, each day I'm gonna write down something that I love. I'm excited to go back to doing something that makes me think a little bit every day, kind of like December Daily, and something that really forces me to think about love. All right, the last 2 daily action items are both related to routine. So again, really focusing in on my morning routine and making sure that I solidify that this quarter. So the 2 things, actually, first off, I'm really proud of the progress I've made on my morning routine. I think adding in the gym has really helped a lot, but in general, I have pretty much quit the snooze button altogether. I think I snoozed like once this month. And my morning routine is just there. I just get up and I do it, and it's just great. There are 2 things that I don't like that I do as part of my morning routine that I want to sort of course correct. The first one is immediately picking up my phone as soon as I wake up. So my phone is my alarm, so I have to turn it off, but I can turn it off and just leave it right where it is. Like, I don't need to then pick it up and check social media. So the rule that I've set for myself in order to get the check mark is I can't check social media on my phone or emails, that falls into social media for me, until after I finish working out. So I wake up, wash my face, brush my teeth, have some water, take my vitamins, I sit on the couch, I read, I journal, and then I get up, put my workout clothes on, and then we go to the gym, and it's like a 5-minute walk. Guess what? Talk to Sam, or look at the surroundings, breathe the fresh air. You don't need to look at your phone. I have to take my phone with me to the gym because I need it to scan in. Otherwise, I would try and leave it at home. Then after I've worked out, while I'm walking home, I can check social media. That gives me 5 minutes about to walk home, check social media, check all the notifications that came in overnight, respond, whatever. Then that kind of leads into the next habit that I'm working on. As soon as I walk in the door from working out, I need to get in the shower. I know that sounds so gross. You're like, how do you not immediately get into the shower? Well, first off, it's freezing outside. So by the time I get home, I'm not sweaty anymore. So I don't feel gross. I know I am. I know I have dried sweat on me, but I don't feel gross. And so I will like do other things, or I will sit on the couch, or we'll go ahead and eat breakfast. And then the problem is, it spirals out of control. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I need a shower and get ready for work. And then I'm in a rush again, even though I got up 3 hours ago. This will also help me from continuing my social media scrolling when I get home. So if I give myself those 5 minutes from the gym to home to check social media, and then as soon as I walk in, I put my phone down and I get in the shower, I think that will really help with my social media time in the morning. And part of that is mental, to not spend as much time. And part of that is mental, to not spend as much time on social media in the morning. But part of that is also just time. Like, that morning time is super valuable to me, and I need to spend way less of it on my phone. So the 2 habits kind of are both tackling that, but the shower one also is tackling, like, get ready earlier and stop dilly-dallying. All right, now that I've told you all about my goals, let's switch to top-down mode so that I can show you how I'm putting them in my calendar. All right, now it is time to actually take the goals that I've set and put them into my calendar. If you watched last week's monthly plan with me, I set up this calendar by changing it from a Sunday through Saturday layout to a Monday through Sunday layout by just putting this washi at the top and then using these Erin Condren date stickers to cover up the date. And then I filled in the numbers in that video last week too. Since filming that video, a couple of things have changed. And so like this one, I lost the hour, and then on these 2 days, I gained some of the time. So then I was going into my goal setting planning with 30.5 hours for the month of March, which I used when I was working on this page. So this is a peek at sort of my brainstorming method when it comes to actually setting up the tending list. Basically what I do, I cross off like the goals to focus, and I just make this whole page action ideas. I have a section for monthly, weekly, and daily, and I start by just like brain dumping things out, like things that I've been thinking about. Either I'd already jotted them down. Like sometimes what I'll do is during the month, I'll think of something that I want to work on, and I'll jot it down on a sticky note and save it. And then it, ends up on this page. Some things are carried over from prior months. And so I fill out those, and then I sort of go through and kind of estimate how long I think each one is going to take. That's what the hours are. And then I go through and I highlight the ones that definitely wanted to get done. And then you'll notice that I changed some things. So like one little word I realized is a daily project this month instead of just like a monthly thing. So I moved that over to the daily. And originally I was going to do 15 minutes a day for one little word and 15 minutes a day for the Sugar Detox journaling. And I realized that would equate to 15.5 hours, which would take like half of my hours. So I'm actually sacrificing sleep this month. I'm gonna sleep a half hour less in order to do those two things so I didn't have to take them from my goal hours, which I think is fine. If at the end of the month I felt like losing that half hour made a huge difference, then I'll go back for April to making my goal 7.5 instead of 7, which is what I'm gonna do for March. And then I also moved the friend directory over to the weekly, and then some of the things just didn't get highlighted. I decided not to cross them off because I wanted to still be able to really read it. So I just highlighted the things that I definitely was gonna stick with. I guess I could have highlighted book club. So let's start with any that are sort of time sensitive. So, okay, day in the life is a little bit time sensitive because it has to happen after the 5th, but I'd like to do it as pretty quickly as I can afterwards. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that here. So that's 2 of my 5.5 on Saturday. Actually, I'm gonna do the weekly stuff first. You'll notice for book club, I did 5 weeks, and for friend directory, I only did 4. And that's because the book club that we're actually working through is actually a 6-week sessions, there's 6 sessions. And so the first one was the last week of February, and then it'll go through that last week of March. Whereas for the friend directory, I really only needed 2 hours. So I just did a half hour times 4. So I think what I'm gonna do, so book club is 1.5. So I'm gonna do the book club here. 1.5, which is gonna leave me 2 more hours for Saturday. And then I'm not gonna start the friend directory stuff until this week, and I'm gonna try to pair it with the book club so that we're so I'm doing them together. So I'll put them here. So I'm gonna do the book club and the friend directory. And the reason I'm pairing them together is because this one's a half hour and this one's an hour and a half, so it makes it a clean 2 hours. So then this week, I guess I'll do it here. And then this week, I'll do them here. I really want to do them earlier because actually, no, she doesn't post this stuff until Wednesday, so I can't do it here. So I don't know how this one's gonna work. I may have to do it as part of April because she doesn't post the discussion stuff until Wednesday. So I'm not gonna be able to do it until this day, which is gonna give me an extra hour and a half as part of March. So I'll put the friend directory here, and then this other hour and a half is just gonna be extra that I can use to roll anything over that doesn't get done. Okay, so that's it for the weekly stuff because these are just built into my schedule. So other time sensitive Plan with Laken stuff has to happen obviously before the Plan with Laken event. So I would like that to be a little bit split up. So I'm gonna do this hour here, and then these 2 hours here as my 3 hours for the Plan with Laken event. Then the quarterly refresh actually needs to happen this day because that's the day that I'm gonna film it. That might be a little bit earlier than I truly wanna do it. For the monthly, I've been really liking doing my monthly goal setting at the very end of the month, the last possible time that I could do it, and so I feel like I will want the same for my quarterly refresh. I'll tell you, I never did a quarterly refresh last year because I didn't. I just carried over the goals. So we'll see how it feels. If it feels too early, then I'll just push it back next quarter and the video will just have to get pushed back too. Okay, I think that's it in terms of time sensitive things. So now let's just start filling things in. So February analytics, I'm gonna put here because it takes a little bit of time for the analytics to, I want to give the February videos, the ones that came up at the last of February, to give them a little bit of time to get their analytics together. February memories. Part of me wants to put that here because I want to do it as quickly as possible. So I think I'll put February memories here because I want to do it quickly, but I don't necessarily want to do day in the life and February on the same day, although that's good for cleaning, having all the memory keeping stuff out. But at the same time, I want to split that up because the memory keeping is enjoyable for me. So I'd like to do, some on one day and some on the other. Okay, the dresser and the closet. I feel like I don't have any 3-hour chunks anymore, actually. So just kidding. We're gonna move February memories, and we're gonna do the dresser here. And we're gonna move February memories here, and then do the closet here. So let's see what I have. I have 2 hours left here and 1 hour left here. So the quarterly planner, it's actually 2 parts. One is me cutting the books at home myself, which I was thinking 1 hour for that and 1 hour for going to get them coiled. I don't know if that's actually gonna pan out, but I'm gonna try and attack it like that. So I think what I'll do, I'll actually, this 1.5 extra, I'm not gonna have here. So I'm gonna do the cut here for the planner and make that 1, and then do the coil for the planner here, which is technically 1, but I'm gonna have an extra half hour there. Okay, now I have the wedding stuff. So I've got photographer, ordering save the dates, and setting up the website. So we'll do the photographer here. Where's the rest of my, I guess it's here and here. So we'll do the save the dates here and setting up the website here. I really love this process. Now I feel like all my March goals have a place in my calendar. They're not just when I feel like it. That was one of my problems last year. It was like when I got around to it that week. And especially the monthly stuff, it was like when I got around to it that month, and then I never got around to it. So I like that they all have a spot in my calendar. What I'll do now is go update my Google Calendar to actually change where it says goals to actually have these specific goals. That way, if things do have to get rescheduled, I can move around that actual goal. All right, that was a lot. March is intense, and I know I have set a lot of lofty goals for myself in March. Like the fact that I have every single line and then one on the monthly, and basically every daily habit is kind of a new habit. I don't normally support that. Normally, I think that you should only have 1 or 2 new daily habits. So I know that I'm being super intense for March, but I think it helps that it's my birthday. I think I'm just really excited about my birthday. I think it gives me some extra motivation to really push in March and really work on a lot of things and accomplish a lot. That way I can start my new year the best way possible. Let me know in the comments below, what was one thing that you accomplished in February that you are super proud of and super excited about? I would love to hear all about your goal progress and how things are going for you so far this year. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you so much for watching. Happy planning. There are still a ton of time. What was the third one? Like when I was controlling every single one of my meal. We need to talk about what I am tackling. I don't know if that's the right word. I don't normally, how do I say this?